Welcome to BTech, it's Basil here with the Nokia Lumia 1020, comparing it against the newly announced Samsung Galaxy S5 here at Barcelona MWC 2014. Now the Samsung Galaxy S5 is a bit of a beast with its 5.1-inch Full HD display. It also packs quad-core internals, Snapdragon 801 processor, and you've also got a 16-megapixel camera, as well as a heart rate monitor. But there is one area the Nokia Lumia will definitely win out, at least on paper. You've got 41 megapixels of camera power in this bad boy. How do they compare though? Well, let's kick off by talking about the design. Two plastic phones, but if you ask us our honest opinion, one is plastic done very well, and the other is plastic done with a little bit of interesting flair, we're not going to lie, but we don't love it either. Definitely feels a lot better than the Samsung Galaxy S devices of old, because it's not as glossy, it doesn't attract as many fingerprints, and it's more grippy in the hand. But we're not totally sold on this electric blue look. You can see on the back, it's shimmering. There is a white and black version available, so we might warm to those a little bit more. As far as the Nokia Lumia goes, you've got a really rich, rounded device. It's a solid bit of a beast. It's really, really chunky. Rounded edges, I do make it sit comfortably in the hand, though the sharp corners might make it dig a touch. Key highlights in terms of the design, just that round camera surround on the back, that heart rate monitor on the back of the S5. Otherwise, you've got a flap at the base of the S5 because this thing is also weatherproofed, whereas the Lumia 1020 isn't water or dust resistant. And this is a fingerprint scanner, in addition, of course, to a home button. The screens are also very different. You've got two AMOLED panels here. You've got a 5.1-inch Full HD AMOLED panel and a 768p panel. The Lumia 1020 does feel significantly less pixel-tastic, much less sharp. You can see as we swipe through the user interface on the Samsung Galaxy S5, it looks phenomenal. Whereas the Lumia 1020 just is starting to feel somewhat dated, but both will provide eye-wateringly good colors and very nice deep blacks too. The UIs are very different as well. Samsung has redefined the Android experience yet again in order to give you a much cleaner looking interface. The iconography, for example, throughout the settings is significantly richer. If we jump through to the applications tray, pinching through gives you a very Sony Xperia-like home screen management system, and swiping through to the left, you've got HTC Blink Feed on there too, or something that's very, very inspired by it. Quite evidently, we don't think we're causing any offense by highlighting that. Swipe through simple folder management on the home screen, for example, with the applications. It does look like a more stock version of Android, even though it's still heavily skinned. Windows Phone is completely stock, save for Nokia's applications that they include both for the user interface as well as the camera. The UI applications include Nokia Mixed Radio, Nokia's Here Maps and Here Drive, and that camera app is Nokia ProCam, which is totally worth jumping into now. If we, for example, open it up, and we pull out, we can lock the focus to the nearest focal range, for example. So, right about there, lock in on the top of the S5. We can take a picture, shaky hand and everything. We still got a gorgeous, blurry background. We can open up that picture. This is a 5-megapixel shot, by the way. What's handheld, as we said. Optical image stabilization on there. Want to try that on the Samsung Galaxy S5? I certainly do. So we've got the Lumia 1020 in the background, Samsung Galaxy S5. Let's put it right up close. Took a picture. My hand was shaking probably just as much, maybe a little bit more. Now that looks way shakier. So there is an optical image stabilization on there. Let's try and hold it a little bit still. Let's stop talking for a second. No, further away. One more time. Having some focus issues. Let's give it one more go, a little bit further away. And hopefully that nailed it. Yep, you can see we've got a pretty decent sharp shot. But immediately we can make the case that this is not anywhere near as good as an optically image stabilized camera from Nokia, at least not in this pre-release software. Other key specs, Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor in the Samsung Galaxy S4 with 2 GB of RAM, whereas the Lumia 1020 has a Snapdragon S4 processor, dual core 1.5 GHz with 2 GB of RAM. There you have it, two devices, both very good at imaging in their own right, but definitely from our first impression, the Nokia Lumia 1020 hasn't lost its crown as a camera phone king out there. Also, design-wise, it definitely wins out. With Android on board the Samsung Galaxy S5 though, that heart rate monitor as well, not to mention the plethora of applications Android offers, it will understandably be the winning choice for many. Plus, this is a Samsung device, so it's going to be much more familiar to most of the people out there looking for a new smartphone. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, fire them in the comments section below. I've been Basil. Head over to btech.com where you can find more about both of these fantastic devices. At the top of the screen is where you can find 3 hand-picked videos for your viewing pleasure. On the left is where you can subscribe, and on the right hand side you can find some exclusive deals if you head over to btech.com.